What happens when a character or a story goes into the public domain, but the more recent versions are not yet in the public domain? Recently, this happened with Steamboat Willie, a Mickey Mouse version, and we're going to talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that's dedicated to all things intellectual property.
Tony, when it comes to characters or different storylines coming into the public domain, what happens when an earlier version is in the public domain, but a later version is not? We know that this recently happened with Steamboat Willie over in the Disney sphere. So can you tell us what happened with that and what we need to know?
Yes, so Steamboat Willie is obviously the first rendition of Mickey Mouse that we've come to know and love. First created by Works and Walt Disney in 1928. Obviously, that iconic cartoon of him at the steering wheel doing the little whistle tune that has become basically the landmark cartoon for the creation of Mickey Mouse as the face of the Disney company. All that to say, as Cam mentioned, Steamboat Willie has entered the public domain. Originally was supposed to expire sometime around 2003, but thanks to the Sonny Bono Copyright Term Extension Act that Disney lobbied for, the copyright to Steamboat Willie actually extended to January 1st, 2024. So once January 1st, 2024 rolled around, that cartoon entered the public domain. Now, that said, there are a lot of people that are thinking, oh, does that mean all of Mickey Mouse is in the public domain? And that is not the case. As a matter of fact, it's only the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse that is in the public domain. So ironically enough, a lot of people have hopped on the bandwagon. We talked about it last year with Winnie the Pooh, with the A.A. Milne version of Winnie the Pooh entering the public domain. That means that character is in the public domain, but not the Disney version of Winnie the Pooh. But we've seen horror film companies come out with their own horror spin. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was one example. And now we've got Mickey's Mousetrap as the newest installment of a horror film featuring Steamboat Willie, which ironically enough, I have no doubt that Disney's going to go after them for Mickey's Mousetrap. I think that is clearly reading into the whole Mickey Mouse side of things, and I think that could be a blatant trademark infringement violation there. Now, there is another one coming out, another horror film that is in the works, also another Steamboat Willie character that is going to be a horror figure as well. That also is thanks to the public domain. We're seeing video games feature Steamboat Willie thanks to the public domain. Why? Because it's fair game. He's open to all. He can be used in whatever manner. So I could actually, for that matter, I could even start creating cartoons with my own version of Steamboat Willie. Now, that said, that means that you can't use other versions of Mickey Mouse like Sorcerer Mickey, Bandleader Mickey, Mickey Mouse Club, like that version of it. You can't use the newer renditions of Mickey Mouse from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to the newer cartoons. And you can't use the word Mickey Mouse itself. It's registered as a trademark in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in a variety of different classes of goods services, including entertainment services like movies, like television shows, like apparel. So you can't just freely use Mickey Mouse as you see fit. Steamboat Willie, on the other hand, fair game. It's not registered as a trademark, at least not by Disney. There are some pending trademarks from what I last checked that are in different classes of goods or services. So obviously that brings up those slew of issues. But all that to say, you can make a character with Steamboat Willie. Now, to address the root of your question, Disney actually did this with Steamboat Willie last year, mid-2023. They had, as a conclusion to The Wonderful World of Mickey, that is like a series on Disney Plus, they created a cartoon called Steamboat Silly, which is a really fun cartoon. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Mickey invites all his friends to come over to watch Steamboat Willie, and somehow the projector system gets knocked up, and Steamboat Willie comes out of the film sheet, and oh my God, from every cell of the film, all these different Steamboat Willies come out, and they're all singing in unison, like the whole whistle and everything. So it's really funny. It is so good. Nine minutes of pure laughter for me, at least. I laugh at anything, but I really enjoyed that. Now, what I had actually made a video about this on my account, but what I even argued is that the 2023 illustration of Steamboat Willie has slight subtle differences to the illustration of Steamboat Willie that iWorks and Walt Disney created as early as 1928. So I would even venture to believe that the 2023 version of Steamboat Willie that Disney animated is a new copyright that is created. And I think that there's an arguable case to make that that is allowed. They created a derivative work, but that still creates a new copyright. So if you're going to make a Steamboat Willie book, or you're going to make something related to Steamboat Willie, avoid the 2023 illustration that's featured in Steamboat Silly, but it's the 1928 version that is completely fair game, all good to go. You can use it. It's all fine. So all that to say, that's the beauty of the public domain. Once the copyright expires, it is free for all to use, but just be mindful of the other existing copyrights that are out there. And I think Steamboat Willie is the classic example because we have a treasure trove of all these different versions of Mickey. It's just that those versions of Mickey are still very much protected under copyright, but the Steamboat Willie character is in the public domain. And if you're keeping tally at home, we've got 11 years until Sorcerer Mickey enters the public domain. So maybe that's going to be the next craze 11 years from now.
Makes a lot of sense. And for people who are going to be getting into the Sorcerer Mickey space, now might be the time to start planning for 11 years from now.
Planning, don't execute on it just yet.
Just plan. If you have questions, let's go ahead and drop those down below. If you plan on doing something with our Steamboat Willie, go ahead and let us know. We'd love to see what you are working on as well. And as always, you can reach out to Tony on his social media for further questions. Tony, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at the IP Professor. You can check out my entertainment law podcast called End Scene, with new episodes dropping every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
For questions down below, and follow along for more videos helping you navigate the world of publishing, from your writing to your publishing to marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress and even less copyright infringement than before. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.